monster.
If you can't tell, we just saw Captain Marvel, and we got some things to say about it.
I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace.
And this is Deuce and Ace, Bro to the Movies.
This is our very first video, the pilot if you will, and we're here to tell you about Captain Marvel.
Spoiler free up front, and after that we're going to get into some spoilers. So Aaron, kick it off. Excuse me. Ace, kick it off.
I'm gonna have to say, Captain Marvel, extremely boring. Definitely one of my least favorite Marvel movies. The pace was just pretty bad. There was a lot happening, but it felt like nothing was happening. And then Brie Larson just can't really carry a film by herself. She had extremely wooden acting, and just she needed someone to play off of. But I feel like Sam Jackson's Nick Fury was not that someone.
So yeah, you know, it starts off, she's already has her powers, she's lost her memory.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was already known, but I'm just... It was a boring movie. It didn't get exciting until the third act, and you know, the gems of previous MCU movies did not save it prior to that.
And speaking of previous MCU movies, I feel like the MCU formula is what was wrong with this movie. They had Captain Marvel kind of being quippy, being funny, but she wasn't funny. So she was just making jokes while fighting the Skrulls, and I'm sitting there like, haha, cool. That's all I felt. I didn't feel any connection with her character. Kind of had a flat character arc, just went from, yeah, I'm super strong to I'm super stronger, and just not a great film. Checking the notes. Visuals, it has some very good visuals. Again, I mean, it's an MCU movie. They know what they're doing. Good CGI. Again, fight scenes, while not bad, they weren't that good either. That's about it. The villain of the movie, very undefined motivations. Kind of had nothing to do with the story. Just kind of, he was going along for the ride as well. I'm sorry, he or she, no spoilers.
Well, I'm gonna say again, after 2018 being a year of great villains, Thanos, Killmonger,
Kingpin and Into the
Spider-Verse, Orm even, definitely not Black Manta.
Ocean Master later.
But it's just a step back in villains. This villain did not captivate, did not steal the show. Yeah, it was just blah.
Yeah, and not just 2018, it feels like Marvel has been ramping up their villains. Like before Killmonger, you had Hela. She wasn't that good, but she's better than it had been. Ego the Living Planet. Well, again, not that good. Better than your Ironmongers and your Whiplashes. Vulture and Spider-Man Homecoming.
Wait, are you saying he was good or bad?
Vulture. Amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like... Again, I'm saying all of these villains, they had been getting better. Like, they had figured out what was working with their villains.
Except Ghost.
I wouldn't even call Ghost a villain. She was kind of antagonistic, yes, but not really villainous. I mean, she did want to kill Wasp's mom, but she was just kind of there. Like, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it was just a fun movie, and I feel like that's what's missing from Captain Marvel. There was no fun, no joy.
Well, at least not from Captain Marvel herself. Samuel Jackson was fun. Goose was fun. Even the Skrulls were pretty fun.
Yeah,
to an extent.
Yeah, some of the Skrulls were fun. Talos, good character. I enjoyed him. But you said Samuel Jackson was pretty fun. I felt like he was phoning it in the whole movie. Like, we've seen some tour de force performances from Samuel Jackson.
What's that mean?
We've seen some amazing steal the show performances from Samuel Jackson. So your Pulp Fictions, Django Unchained, even previous incarnations of Nick Fury. This, again, just kind of blah.
But he's a by the books guy at this point in time. He's not the Nick Fury we know.
Okay, but I'm talking about Samuel Jackson, the actor. He could be by the books, but yeah, he was kind of goofy, but his goofiness was not fun.
I don't know, man. I giggled a couple times at Samuel L.
I mean, I definitely giggled at the Jack, man. My favorite characters were actually Talos and Monica, aka Little Trouble, and to a lesser extent her mom. But that's how you know it's not that great of a movie when your main character is even in your top 5 characters.
But you only listed 2 characters.
Little Trouble, Talos, Coulson for a little bit he was in, Goose, who's not even a character, it's a cat, kind of, and Minerva for various reasons.
Minerva. Got it. I will say on a positive note, the CGI on the de-aging was pretty amazing. Like, you're watching the movie and Samuel Jackson is a 45-year-old SHIELD agent and it's like it's normal.
Yeah, I feel like just in most movies the technology is getting better. We're moving away from the uncanny valley where like our brain knows that this isn't real but our minds accept it. In Star Wars, what was the one? Rogue One, when they did the Grand Moff Tarkin and they did Carrie Fisher, like, man, I know that they're not there, but it looks real. And I think the technology's just gotten better.
Yeah. Wasn't so good on Coulson, but definitely good on Samuel Jackson.
I mean, what? Coulson doesn't look that old, and like nowadays they just de-aged him a solid 5.5 years.
Probably why it didn't look as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a task to keep myself awake. I wasn't invested in Captain Marvel as a character. And I think part of the issue was that the whole movie being out of sequence, kind of, I don't know, it's like you felt like you had to care about the story that was unraveling, but you just didn't.
I mean, I didn't feel like I had to care about the story that was unraveling. I much would have rather watched the Kree versus Skrull war from like the Kree standpoint on Hala or whatever their homeworld name was. Like, that's interesting. It's kind of like in a Thor 1 when Thor and the Warriors 7 go and fight the Frost Giants. And you're like, whoa, this is pretty cool. This is going to be a cool movie. Then he gets sent to Earth for 3/4 of the movie. You're like, man, this is pretty dang boring.
But you love Thor.
I love Thor, the character. I enjoyed his movies. I can see why people don't like Thor 1 and Thor 2. I mean, they are boring, but I feel like Thor's pretty fun, and I like Natalie Portman. Kat Dennings is pretty good in those movies. But we're not talking about Thor right now. But some of the problems that this movie had, Thor also had. It's I don't know if this has to be on film or not, but do you know what, like...
Let's talk. This is what we do now. We talk to the camera, bro.
Do you know what, like, isekai is? It's it's like Digimon, where you go from the regular world and then you're transported to a different world. Like Black Knight, where he was transported to medieval times. And it's good for exposition. You learn things as the character learn things. I feel like Captain Marvel and Thor, they were both reverse isekai in the fact that, yeah, it's a fish out of water story, but, like, they're experiencing things that we already know about, so we can't really care about it that much. Like, haha, it's funny, she went to Radio Shack, but Radio Shacks, they don't exist anymore. Like, why? We don't care about them learning new things because we already know those things, so it's kind of hard to get invested in their characters.
But what do we know of her story, like, in the movie?
Spoilers. In the movie, it's kind of pretty obvious that, so the Kree and the Skrull, they're going to war. It's obvious that...
Alright, pause. Alright, so, we've said all that. We'll give our grades. Let's give our grades now.
If I have to give it a grade on a 1 to 10 scale, I'd have to give it a 3.5. Not just out of, like, sheer badness, just out of sheer boringness. I'd rather watch a bad movie than a boring movie any day.
3.5, I give it a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. That's a average of 4.75. That's what it is.
It's a solid F if you're taking a class. I know all about that. Not taking classes.
Alright. Yeah. So, all right, you got a score 4.75 out of 10. That's the average. 6, 3.5.
10, 5.
Anyway, so yeah, now we're going to get to the spoilers. So, you've been warned. If you haven't seen the movie, stop the video after liking and subscribing. Spoilers.
Like, Black Panther just showed up in Civil War. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Black Panther's here now. He gave him character development within Civil War. And like, all right, I accept that he's part of this movie. You could have done the same thing with Captain Marvel. Could have. I mean, yeah, I guess you kind of got to tell her backstory, but I just feel like this wasn't the way to do it. Just broke someone's spin.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that wasn't what. Okay, we're going to get into the spoilers now. The scene where it's revealed, that Marvel, who was not the Marvel from the comics, has been gender bended, all that stuff. It's a lady, Annette Bening, that's her name.
I had no idea who that was. The old white lady.
the old lady, she is Marvel. And so when it's revealed how Carol Danvers gets her powers, if we started there with that scene, and then, we don't need the surprise of Jan Rog. If we started there with that scene, then the rest of the movie could have followed suit. She lost her memory, all that stuff, and I think that would have been a better film. Instead of jumping all over the place. In fact, let me check my notes real quick. At one point, what does he say? I think it's Talos, and when they're going through her mind, and he says, "Am I the only one who's confused here?" No, Talos, you're not. I was also confused. The time jumps and just the story plots, it was all over the place.
I wasn't really confused at that point in time.
Thanks.
That was the point in time they were probing her mind, trying to... Well, we learned they're trying to find out what Talos' family is. They're using this information. But obviously, she had just gotten shot by Talos, and then they're showing her memories with Ben Mendelsohn's voice over in the background. You're like, oh, obviously they're going through her memories. It's not that confusing.
I mean, I got that, but I'm saying it's confusing in the story. Like, they're telling the story through these memories, but I thought it could have been done a different way.
I thought it was pretty creative.
Creative, okay.
Yeah. That was one of the better points of the movie. It wasn't linear, because when you have a boring story, you have to find some way to jazz it up. So there's a mystery involved. Obviously, we know that Vers is really Carol Danvers, but seeing her solve the did I say memory earlier? Mystery. Seeing her solve the mystery is kind of intriguing for us. And that's about it on that.
Alright, but yeah, man. Some positives, man. Let's get some positives, some spoiler positives, man.
Right off the jump, they do their classic brand new Marvel intro with a twist. The Avengers are replaced with Stan Lee cameos. Thought it was I'm not going to say moving tribute, but it was a very nice, very loving tribute to the late Stan Lee. And you will be missed.
I mean, I already cry when the music comes on, so just seeing Stan Lee brought a few man tears. Man tears.
To go along with those man tits. Talos.
Talos.
Misspelled his name. Talos definitely stole the show for me. He was funny. You don't always expect your villains to be funny. He was pretty witty. And turns out that the Kree are the bad guys. Who would have thought that the fascists, the racially superior Kree are the bad guys in the sense that the side that Ronan is on are the bad guys. I mean, is the one scene where they're like, all right, we're going to have the accusers cluster bomb the planet, then we're going to go in. Like, man, that sounds pretty jacked up.
Yeah, and another movie, Ronan the Accuser is wasted. I don't know if he's wasted more in this or Guardians of the Galaxy. Hashtag Guardians of the Galaxy is trash. Wreck me, bro.
I'm not going to say it's trash. Definitely better than Captain Marvel. But yes, I'd say he's wasted more in this movie. At least in Guardians of the Galaxy, Lee Pace is giving energy. He's charismatic. And this, he's just kind of there. It's like, Ronan, do this. Okay, I hate squirrels. And then that's pretty much his character. Towards the end, Jan Rog, played by Jude Law, says, Ronan, we need you to attack Earth to kill Captain Marvel, or whatever the reason was. And Ronan says, okay. Shows up and got these fancy ships, dropping bombs, and And that's the climax of the movie. Captain Marvel just kind of flies up, stops the bombs, looks at him. He's like, "Oh, I'm scared," and runs away.
It's very Scooby-Doo-esque.
Scooby-Doo-esque.
Scooby-Doo-esque. Yeah, my favorite scene is like when Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, is falling before she even knows she can fly, and then she's just falling and falling, and then that emotion of serenity when she just knew that she was Captain Marvel, dog. I like that scene. I really liked it.
I want to talk about the scene in a moment, but you said she knew she was Captain Marvel. They never call her Captain Marvel in the movie. Like, okay, her quote-unquote mentor was Marvel, and we know her name is Captain Marvel because of the comics, but what? And Nick Fury randomly starts singing Mr. Postman. But, very strange. But about that scene, yeah, like, it was beautifully shot, but emoted. Brie Larson showed no emotions throughout this whole movie.
On that, in her face, you can see she's like, "Wow, I got it!" Like it was just.
I don't know what movie you're watching, but that is
Captain Marvel. Marvel's Captain Marvel.
That is not what I saw. I just saw, oh wow, she's obviously gonna fly because we've seen trailers of her flying.
Well, yeah, we know it's obvious, but in that moment, like it was just like a look of serenity and confidence on her face, and joy.
She has been. Not serene, but she has been confident the whole movie. She is the most overpowered main character of a Marvel movie since the Incredible Hulk. There is no point in time where she is in danger throughout the whole movie. The first scene, she's beating up Skrull, she's blasting stuff. In the movie, she has just gotten stronger. It's like, oh, because of your self-confidence in yourself, your self-worth, you're a human, here you can unlock your true powers.
No, because she removed the inhibitor on her.
She only removed the inhibitor because she had that flashback where she was like, every time I get knocked down, I get up. #power on the Stars Network. #power. And I'm like, okay, good message. I didn't necessarily get something from it, but I could see how other people, it would be good for them. Maybe,
my daughter. I have a daughter. And 2 sons.
I have no kids.
Or a girl.
Come on. Come on. But I can see how that could be a powerful moment for some people. And then she rips the inhibitor off her neck. And then, oh, I have all these amazing powers. Oh, you were already super powerful.
But it's the same powers, just amplified. The inhibitor's not there. Inhibiting is full potential.
Okay, but I was like, she didn't need its full potential. She was wrecking people with just her inhibited powers.
I mean, what's his name? Yarnrog. Yarnrog was putting that work on her, so...
Also, all of the Kree, for some reason, have special glove weapons that are never explained. Yarnrog can control gravity for some reason. Is it Korag or Korath?
Korath, the Accuser.
Ronan's the Accuser. He's not.
We'll look it up. Korath.
Jimon Hansu, he has like these cool double-bladed swords. I'm like, oh, these are cool, but I wish I knew some of the mythos behind the Kree. I don't necessarily want Captain Marvel's story. I want to be like...
Well, that's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is for. They talk about the Kree a lot.
They talk about the Kree from a human perspective, and they talk about, like, yeah, I guess kind of the mythos, but they don't talk about, like, the guts of it. Like, how does their technology work? That's what I wanted to know. Like, the Supreme Intelligence... That was pretty cool. I wanted to explore that more. Like, she's sitting there shooting out beams at Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel's like, no, I'm strong. And then she just overpowers the godlike figure of the Kree. I'm like, well, why?
Because Captain Marvel apparently got her powers from the Tesseract. Tesseract is in this movie, the one from Captain America, Avengers, all those movies, the square... Cube.
The Cosmic Cube.
The Cosmic Cube.
The Space Stone.
The Space Stone. Thanos.
Brother, you are the worst.
But, yeah, the Tesseract's in this movie, and that was pretty cool. A cat ate it. Go watch Captain Marvel.
Goose. Don't watch Captain Marvel. And I like that they brought the Tesseract back, kind of explaining why S.H.I.E.L.D. has the Tesseract in Avengers, cleaning up some plot holes. But, okay, yes, she has her powers from the Tesseract, but, okay, she's super strong. But why does she need her inhibitor off then? Because she is already so much stronger than all of the other all the other Skrulls. Like the whole time she was fighting the Skrulls, I was like, man, she just like punched them once and they should fall.
I mean, but there was nothing that indicated that the Skrulls had strength. In fact, we know they don't. They're running away and they're refugees.
They have some strength. When Nick Fury first fought Talos, and he like dodged out of him, he like threw Nick Fury. Like, all right,
well, compared to a normal human.
Yeah, okay. So then with her accretion, she's like wrecking them. And then even when I can't even remember what's happening in the movie. That's how boring it was. When she's fighting the other members of Star Force, like it felt like she was stronger than all of them. I mean, Minerva just had a gun. Korath had his swords. The only one who was powerful was Jan Rog. The other ones, they were just kind of fodder.
Yeah, but it's Captain Marvel movie, so you know.
Yeah, I was saying she didn't really need the power up.
But she needs it for Thanos.
You got me there. She does need it for Thanos. But what's the limit to her power? Because, so we know Scarlet Witch is gone, Vision is gone. They had their powers from the Infinity Stones.
I mean, but even them, what's the limit to Vision's power?
I don't know. That's why Vision's a bad character.
But I'm saying, how is Captain Marvel any different than, say, Scarlet Witch or Vision, all of which who got their powers from the Infinity Stones?
She is not any different from them. I do like Scarlet Witch. Vision should be supremely powerful. He was a little Mitch in Infinity Wars.
And Civil War.
Civil War, I kind of get it. He didn't want to fight. He only showed up, like he shot the little beam in the ground, like, guys, stop. Come on, this is the right thing to do. Then he almost murdered War Machine. Pretty jacked up. But in Infinity Wars, he just got stabbed in the back. Then he was hurt the whole movie. Like, kill me. No, we don't trade lives. Kill me.
Speaking of Rhodey, what was her black girlfriend's name? Going to look that up. You know, speaking of Rhodey, you know, I really appreciated Maria Rambeau. Is that her last name? I think that's her last name. You know,
Maria, the
black friend. You know, Rhodey's always just kind of just Iron Man's little lackey, his sidekick. You know, I got a suit. Thanks, Iron Man. I'll do something with it. But it's like I like that Maria had confidence and was able to hold it down and fly the plane. You know, Quinjet by herself. No, okay, guess not.
I mean, Terrence Howard Rhodey was definitely his little lackey. You know, his he didn't really have any agency. He didn't do anything.
Hey, we're not talking about Lucius Lyon here. Come on.
I also don't watch Empire. But in Iron Man 2, when Don Cheadle takes over the role, you see the friction between him and Tony Stark. Tony's being this wild fly guy. He's dying. He doesn't care what's going on. And Rhodey, he goes up against him, so he's not really his slave per se.
I didn't say slave. I just said lackey.
Okay, man, you insinuated slave. But yeah, I did enjoy her character, her confidence, but it felt kind of weird that she was just flying the spaceship plane at the end, and that regular Earth bullets can destroy a Kree warship.
I mean, but it's not regular Earth bullets. I'm assuming this is what Marvel designed. She was working on those Quinjets and stuff.
I don't know, man. It just seemed like a regular plane that they flew to the house. Then
that wasn't a regular plane. Planes don't have like this and shoot fire out. They run on air.
Okay, jets shoot fire out, man.
Dog, that was a Quinjet, like a Quinjet prototype.
Okay, maybe a Quinjet prototype, but it's still ain't having the capabilities to destroy. The Kree are a warrior race. You're telling me regular bullets can stop them?
It's not regular. A Kree scientist made it.
Okay, let's say the Kree scientists made the Quinjets. All the Quinjets should have that technology from here on out there.
But they don't. It's just a prototype, so they ain't know the specs for the lasers though.
She didn't have. I'm done with that.
Yeah, we're done with that. All right, man.
I really liked the first post-credit scene. It's maybe a scene from Avengers Endgame. Kind of like how at the end of Ant-Man 1, they showed a scene for Civil War. They showed some of the survivors together. They're working on the little pager thing that Captain Marvel gives to Nick Fury. And they're like, oh, what's going on? And she shows up. I like that. I like to see Chris Evans back, ScarJo back. Oh, man.
Sorry, I was yawning.
Just pretty boring points. So.
No, man, I appreciate that, man.
Let's go.
No, keep going, man.
No, I just like that the intercontinuity within the series.
I mean, that's the MCU for you, am I right?
Yeah, but a lot of the movies feel really disjointed.
This movie kind of feels disjointed.
Exactly, but I like the little scenes that do that, like the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp when the Pims get snapped. I like that. Oh, gives me a little taste of what's coming in the next movie. Then end of this one gives me a little taste of what's coming in the next movie. A small nitpick, but one that I had to bring up. Nick Fury calls it S.H.I.E.L.D. during the 90s, even though, if you remember, Iron Man 1, set back in 2008, it was the Strategic Homeland Intervention, whatever S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for, and Coulson, like, oh, we call it S.H.I.E.L.D. now. You've been calling it S.H.I.E.L.D. for about 20 years. Get your game together.
Get your game together.
Also, what I felt was the emotional climax of the film, right after Talos explains that the Kree are the bad guys, the Skrulls are good, Captain Marvel finally decides that she's gonna help Talos, help the Skrulls, and she's sitting there, quote-unquote, emoting. She's talking to her friends, the wind is blowing, and you see her face, and it's just Brie Larson's face looking like, oh, I'm so bored with this movie. I just can't get over how bad of a casting Brie Larson was for this movie.
I'm not going to say it's a bad casting. I'd say maybe bad direction. You know, maybe they didn't tell her what to do. I believe she was Captain Marvel. She's Captain Marvel to me. I didn't have any issues with Brie Larson. I had issues with the movie, but not her as an actress.
I can't remember anything else that she's been in, so I can't speak to her acting chops. But maybe
she's won an Oscar.
3 6 Mafia's won an Oscar, so...
rightly so, because it's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah, so I assume she knows how to act. So maybe it's the directing, maybe it's the writing, but there's just no emotions on her face. Throughout the movie, she's just cocky. And she shows cocky well, but when it's time for her to be serious, I just don't get anything from her. I'm sitting there like, man, shed a tear, do something. She has this weird half smile that she does a lot. I'm like, I don't like that.
Hey, man, you know, when you guys start filming Captain Marvel 2, I want to be a part of it. I have no issues with Brie Larson, so just throwing that out there.
She's like, my name is Larson.
but what I do have an issue with is that's how you came up with the Avengers Initiative? Really? That's how you lost your eye? Really?
Oh my goodness.
Come on, man. It's like all this build up for... we're not even going to say it in the video. It's just... That's how you lost your eye, Nick Fury? Come on.
Speaking of build up, the final climactic battle between Jan Rog and Carol Danvers. So she's finally broken free. She has all this power. Jan Rog, and he's goading her. He's like, hey, earlier in the movie they were training. He's like, don't use your powers, just fist fight me. So he tries to bring that back. He's like, don't use your powers, Captain Marvel, just fist fight me.
Captain Marvel.
Marvel. And I feel like it would have been not emotional, but a powerful scene to see her not use her newfound powers, to say, hey, I don't need this Kree energy, this Tesseract energy. I'm a human. I'm going to beat you my own human strength. She would have lost, but it would have been nice to see her try.
But the whole point is that she's overcoming the need to prove anything to him, and she says that. I don't need to prove anything to you. Boom! Go back to Hogwarts.
Holla. But that has not been the point in the movie. Nowhere in the movie has this lesson been... Man, I can't come with words today. Has this theme been going throughout the movie that she doesn't need to prove herself? There have been scenes of her, her dad was a douche, I guess, when they were younger, and then boys are mean, boys will be boys. Hashtag Gillette. So there are scenes of her overcoming things, but never was it like, oh, you don't need to prove yourself to me. Who would she have been proving herself to? Like, at the beginning, when they finally let her go on the mission with Star Force, she jumps out there like, ooh, I'm Captain Marvel, I'm bad.
But I'm saying she doesn't have to prove anything to him because you're a liar. Not because this has been set up, it's because you betrayed me. I don't got to do nothing. Like, you're worthless. Not that this is the culmination of the theme of the movie. More so, in that character, it's like, who are you? I don't got to prove nothing to you. I'm just going to blast you.
Okay, and it makes for a very boring, anticlimactic movie because the music is building around Yan Rai. He's got the dukes up. He's like, what do they call it? Varys, I'm about to body you. And she's like, okay, boom. Her powers felt unearned. Her storyline felt, unearned. And it's just, there's no catharsis in this movie.
Catharsis.
There's no catharsis in this movie. There was nothing that made me feel for her, feel through her. The only character I felt for, again, was Talos. This dude, like, man, my family's gone. I'm just trying to find my family.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt for the Skrulls. Like, did not think that going in. I didn't even think I was going to like the look of them based off the previews, but I really care for Skrulls now. Skrull bros. Anyway, so yeah, you know, we've gone on enough. He apparently didn't like the movie. I liked it somewhat. You know, it is what it is. I'd say go see it. You know, it's just a nice palate cleanser before the buffet of Avengers Endgame.
And another thing, they really tried to lean harder to the nostalgia factor in this movie. You've seen the commercials. They got the blockbuster, like, oh, 90s. They're playing this 90s music. They go to Radio Shack. We're like, we get it. Everyone's doing it with the 80s. Your Stranger Things, it. But don't just set a movie in a time frame and be like, haha, reference, and expect it to be filler for the movie. It just kind of took me out of the movie that they were so hard pushing the 90s thing.
No comment. I mean, didn't care one way or the other.
Yeah, you know, he may have liked the movie. I definitely did not like the movie. Again, 3.5, 6 for a grand total of
4.75 out of 10. Halfway through the movie, Aaron was just like, "This movie sucks." I don't agree with that, but we encourage you to go decide for yourself. I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace.
And this is... I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace.
And I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace. And this...
I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace.
And this has been Deuce and Ace Bro to the Movies. Out.